you today?
Hi, Michelle.
Merry Christmas. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas.
Oh, my gosh. Oh,
it was great.
Wonderful. Of course. Celebrating the holidays in a new home. And, I love the city we're in. So, yes.
Right. The neighborhood you're in is fabulous. The lights have been wonderful. Yeah. Everything has been so lovely.
And yours as well, by the way. Your neighborhood. Oh, my goodness. Driving around it the other night. People really go to town.
We do go to town down there in Holly Hills. And, I've been so busy with the family in town and, the daughter, son. It's been good. Really nice. But I'm also looking forward to 2019.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I knew 2018 was going to be a good year, and I feel like it was. A lot has transpired in this year.
Totally.
And I'm extremely encouraged about 2019.
I think 2019 is going to be better than we could ever have imagined.
Yeah. And so for our last episode of the year, I think it's very appropriate that we have a wonderful friend of yours that I've had the pleasure of hanging out with a few times now.
Yeah, she's pretty amazing.
Joining us.
She's pretty amazing.
Yes.
We're going to join here today with the incredible, world famous, sometimes infamous, Darcella Craven. Yay! Joining us on our final episode in 2018.
Yes.
We had to actually get with her people to, when is she available? She's always traveling and stuff. Oh no,
we've been trying. From the beginning. Yes.
Yeah. Even before we had a podcast, we were like, you know what? We should do a podcast just so we can have Darcella on. And then we're like, well, let's just Emma, it's a great idea. We should just do a podcast. And then Darcella was busy and out of town, and then had a birthday. She wasn't available on her birthday, and
all over the Midwest.
And because that's what you are.
So many fabulous parties.
That is the woman you are. You were changing lives everywhere you go.
Hanging in Omaha.
Omaha's a great city.
Awesome
is that where you're from?
No, I'm originally from St. Louis.
Oh, okay. I love Omaha.
Omaha's nice.
Yeah,
they've done some amazing stuff.
They have a really nicely small airport where you can find your way around really easy.
Yeah. I did get in trouble once with a client when I said, "This is such a cute small town," and he got really offended.
Oh, really?
He was like, "We're not a small town," and he just goes on, and I was like,
"Oh,
okay, I can see your downtown from the airport. It's a small town." But okay.
Did he drive a big truck?
He didn't, but he was in the military, and he was, again, it's a beautiful space. I think they have done a fabulous job.
Yeah, the Old Town, or is that what they call it? The market?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's
all the years you've been traveling there, you can really see the change and the positive.
I can. Des Moines has an amazing downtown with a ton of art. There's 6 blocks of art.
Seriously?
Yes. Art you would never ever see unless you were ridiculously wealthy and you could afford a giant massive rabbit. Oh, that kind of stuff.
You just spoke to my heart because, I am obsessed with rabbits.
Well, there you go. I have a massive rabbit.
And she knows she's going to want to do now. She's going to want to go to Des Moines and do a podcast by the rabbit.
I definitely do. So
make it happen, Sam.
So for a brief moment in time this year, my family, every one of us in our family, we did a bunny a day drawing. We all of them. So my brother and I, when we were kids, our dad read Watership Down to us.
What? Oh my God!
Which was transformative.
When did he finish? I mean, how young were you when he started? Because that is a huge ass book.
Well,
I mean, the movie was long enough, and I cried and cried. How could that's almost children? Come on, children, let's read another chapter from Watership Down. Yes, Daddy.
We just all loved it. We all love rabbits, so we committed to doing a bunny a day drawing. It lasted for about a month, and that was it. But several people chiming in. We have
the bunny a day drawing lasted about a month. Okay, because I was like, the Watership Down probably lasted a little bit longer than a month.
It's a great book.
But my sister read it twice. Yes, go ahead.
Explains a lot.
She did. She read it twice. I was like, wow, Jen, you are amazing.
Well, I found for my brother for Christmas, I found a vintage recording on vinyl of the book being read.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow.
So I
Fun
found that
times
a
at
long time.
Emily's. Yeah, come on, Gover. Come on. We're going to listen to this recording of Watership Down, the scratchy vinyl. Yeah.
Oh, I love vinyl.
I love vinyl
Yeah.
too, but you know.
I didn't read it until I was an adult because like the title alone sounded like it was going to be really like depressing. But when I read it, I was like, oh, okay. I'm glad I read it older.
Yeah.
So I could, kind of get it.
You're like, oh, it's an allegory. Great.
Yay.
I just wanted to really, I thought it was a Hallmark movie.
Right. I was really into J.R.R. Tolkien back then. So.
Hey, you know what? My father read those to us too.
Yeah. Now there's a good
Now, and my sisters read those a few times as well. I saw the movie.
In fact, I have
Part of it anyway. I can claim that. I have.
So, Michelle, I have it on our wish list for our podcast that we do a live recording from Hobbiton in New Zealand.
Oh.
Have you seen that? They have all these amazing photos that set still exists.
That's
and they
nice.
do tours there. I want to do a podcast recording from Bilbo's home.
So if our one listener in New Zealand
Can help us
could
up?
email us,
Wait a minute. My kid's godmother's from New Zealand.
our second listener
There you go.
related
She's
to
listening.
New Zealand
Yeah.
can hook us up. That would be great. And also one of my most favorite production companies is out of New Zealand called South Pacific Pictures.
Well, there you go.
And yeah,
So, yeah,
so they should probably hook us up too.
that's the Vision Board
Oh, and then
2019.
a really, really handsome actor down there, but that's like a whole other bottle of wine.
So we kind of got off track because she was telling us about this amazing artwork in Des Moines and bunnies, and of course I got excited. But we totally
She's the queen of the
neglected.
Midwest.
But we
Darcella.
did neglect to do the very thing that we usually do at the beginning of a podcast.
Oh my gosh, we have to talk about our wine.
Right. Because
there you go.
first of all, our glasses are almost already empty. And we haven't even talked about
We
the
haven't
wine
introduced
yet.
it. Gosh, Emily,
See.
we are falling way behind here on that
That's
last
me.
episode
Right.
of the
It's just-
of 2018.
Right. It's just no form anymore. We're just having fun.
It's like our own New Year's Eve.
But
not really.
Right already, yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So, Michelle, you picked out this wine.
Yes, this is the second time I've been allowed to bring the wine for this Clearly Speaking the podcast, and I want to make if everybody would write that down. The second time, make a note because now Emily's going to talk really, really nice about it.
Well, you know what? You have done an excellent job.
On the two wines I suggested and bought.
It's true. You have. This is a rosé from Provence, which I always love provincial rosés.
Me too.
Yeah.
You don't you?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes. This is called Le Paradou. It's a 2017. This is just utterly delicious. It has a really nice kind of buttery mouthfeel about it. I like on the nose, I get this really interesting herbaceousness like thyme and of course some really lovely strawberry on the palate. The color of this is so pretty. It's very typical of Provence. It's got that nice kind of salmon pink kind of color.
I'm going to write that word down, herbaceousness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next time you're out to dinner, this is the most herbaceousness smelling wine I've ever had. No, I think you're right, Emily, on everything about this bottle. I bought it because I thought it was so pretty with the blue glass topper.
It is a pretty
And that
bottle.
kind of says a lot about me. It's like, oh my God, it's such a pretty bottle. Look at the label. it's like a little jewel, It's almost like jewelry, this glass
It
topper,
is.
blue. And but we did share because I bought a few bottles of it, and we shared it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And you were like,
I was blown away.
right. She actually said, holy fuck. This is good.
Did I say that?
You did. Actually, I mean, that's what you said. And I was like, yes. And I have a couple more bottles at the house because I was so taken by the beauty
My
of
exclamation.
Well, I was like, yes, I know now I have something great and, not just a pretty bottle.
It's pretty. I'm with you. It's
Yeah.
pretty. And it's got a gift. I think we talked about that. A little.
Yeah. And then Emily
top.
suggested that I keep this bottle after we're finished and use it for my sparkling wine. And I said, that's not my sparkling wine.
Your sparkling
My
water.
sparkling water.
Yes.
And then I'm happy to pour from that into my red Solo cups. Then I have guests
really
over.
class it up.
Yeah, I'm going to class up the place. But you're right. And my reaction to this
Yeah, tell us what you
lovely rosé Hold on, I'm going to take another sip because I know. It's
Darcella, we're
fleeting
going to
these
want
days.
your opinion here. Do you have any thoughts?
I do. First of all, let me just say, with the pretty little top, you get it, extra little gift, and it's eco-friendly because you
That's
can
true.
just keep reusing it. So you always got
Very
to look
good
on the
point.
other side of everything, and so
Oh my God, this is just very light, easy. I definitely will continue to buy this bottle. And let me just think on the panties for a minute.
What kind of panties
What
are
kind
these?
of panties are these? These are pretty panties because this is
They're
like
very
and
pretty,
they're-
yeah.
I see them, and even in this turquoise blue, which would then match my eyes. But then that's like a whole other podcast.
it is really it's a beautiful bottle. It's beautiful. So my thoughts.
Yeah, it's your thoughts.
Right.
Yeah, bring it home.
So this is what we call some get you someone.
Ooh.
And because it's real easy, it's real smooth. I'm not sure it's herbaceous, but it goes down real easy.
So
So you can put this down pretty quickly
and then get you some.
and get you some.
So I think Darcella,
Because
perhaps
it does make you smile like that.
does.
It's like, oh yeah,
You look at it, you're
like,
like, okay, you go get you some.
I'll just keep drinking this.
so perhaps you need a case of this.
Considering my life, like yes.
Yeah. So if I get this for you for New Year's Eve, you'll be happy. You'll be like, oh, Michelle, you're like my best friend ever.
Well, you are my best friend ever.
Well, I knew that. Darcella and I go back
Some number of years.
Yeah,
a
how
few
did you
years.
meet?
Yeah.
Let's
We
see.
met after high school.
We did.
Okay.
So we met back in, was it 2000? 2001?
I think so.
Something like that. So it's
Jacob
been
was
quite
around
a while.
He was alive, but William was not.
Right. So
Yeah, so it was
then-
your birthday. Yeah.
So how we met was actually another mutual friend of ours invited us both to speak on a panel at WashU for women in leaders, women leadership,
Yeah.
something with women and leaders in the title, and that's how we met. Actually, we were doing a group.
Yeah, we did
And-
a panel.
Yeah, we were in this like little bitty room, and we're doing this group, and we ended up talking.
I was like, wow, you really, you're pretty awesome.
So we ended up talking the whole time. I don't even remember.
Your
what
daughters
we
were
in the
with
room.
you. I remember
they
that.
were.
Your daughters were with
Yeah.
you, and Melanie Adams.
Yeah, Melanie Adams.
had
He was also amazing. So
yeah. She doesn't live here anymore.
no, sad.
But so that's how we met, and then I had you on my little television
Right.
program that I had with
her story.
that was the
Something?
radio program
Oh,
I did at
We've been going back
KWMU.
and forth for a while.
But
That was your program. Her story?
yeah, I did her story at KWMU.
Oh my gosh. See,
Yeah.
my
Did you
mind
listen to
just
that?
blew up. I know of your program. I didn't. It was before I was here, but I
Universe.
know of
Yeah, it was
it.
before you were-
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. That was a pretty awesome little
Yeah.
experience. But I had Darcella on because you were the director of Freedom's House at the time.
yeah.
And I did a show called City Corner, and then
right.
St. Louis Woman
Oh my goodness! Yes.
at the local government access channel here in St. Louis. I was my little TV program.
Yeah.
Yep, I did that, and then I got divorced, and yeah, there you go.
Okay. So you've been through a lot together.
We have.
And can I just share? Darcella, she always laughs. She's like, "Oh, here she goes. Here she goes. She's been drinking, and now she's gonna start telling things." She hates it when I've had like a little bit. And I'm like, Darcella, I just love you so much, and she's like, "Shut up." But I have to say that this is how big Darcella's heart is, and I was newly divorcing. I didn't even think I was divorced yet.
Yeah, no, I don't think.
And I think it was my birthday. And you and my sister were so kind to sit with me I think we were at the Chase, and they're like, you guys, whatever you want to do, Michelle. It was really kind of pathetic when I sit back and look at it, 15, 16 years later. But you and my sister made my birthday feel so special. Aww. Even though my whole world was falling apart. You're like, we'll go here. This is a good place. And we watched boys walk by, and I think there was a prom going on.
I'm sure.
And we were making all kinds of stories about, what was going to happen with those two. And, now I think about it's like, wow, how inappropriate were we talking about these people.
But in retrospect, your world wasn't really falling apart, was it? It was just being ripped open so new stuff can come out.
This is why I love her.
Right. That's a really perfect perspective.
It was just being deconstructed. This is not right. It was built incorrectly, maybe right at the time, and now it's awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, I appreciate you so much for holding my hand during that weird chicken beans time of my life.
I thought she was going to blame me for the birth of her kid.
Oh, that's another. Oh, yeah. That's a whole nother. So that's a whole nother. Yeah, that's a funny story. That's a really funny story. I always start things off with like a touching story. I really do. I always like.
Here's why I love you.
That's why I love you so much. But yeah, I would have to say that the reason there's William is because your fault. Okay, Will, I don't know if you're listening to this, or probably not because you're not listening to your mom's podcast, but Darcella's birthday is in October. Yeah. We were supposed to go out. Another couple of friends of yours that we ran into, and we were going to go to the complex. Yeah. This gay bar.
Yeah, in Manchester. Shodo, yeah.
And we're like, I've never been. We're going to go. Let's go. I've never been. Okay, we've been drinking already at the Feasting Fox, and they're like, okay, we're driving. We get there, it was like closed.
Right.
So we did. Oh, no.
How late was this?
This was late.
Yeah. So
this is the bars that open the latest. It wasn't closed. Your friends had to go and save like her foster daughter or something.
Something dramatic happened. Like we were like,
and we weren't driving. They were driving. We're like, we'll have to go take care of this, foster daughter thing. We're like, okay. So like drive us back to our car. I was like, well, I'm not going to go back now. So I had been drinking a whole lot and I just came home. That's all I have to say. There you go.
That was it.
That's how we got William.
I wasn't there.
I said to Darcella, I go, if we had just gone dancing at the gay bar complex, there would be no William today.
And aren't you glad?
Oh, I'm so glad
that it worked out that way.
We love William.
Because he is the most amazing kid. And actually, you said he's probably not listening, but the truth of it is, I think he is listening because he cares about you and he does these special things. I picked Michelle up when she got back from a trip recently, and he was walking out that front door to meet his mom on the street to help her with the luggage to come in. I mean, he's a very sweet kid.
He is pretty. He's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So there might be times while listening to the podcast, he's like, la 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 la. I don't want to hear that.
She's talking about me again.
Right.
Or actually, then he goes, he'll probably come home and he's like, well, you didn't talk about me today on the podcast. Every other podcast you talk about me.
It's probably when you talk about panties and things like that he's like, I don't want to know. But
so yeah, I do give you credit, Darcella. I don't blame you for the fact that I have William. I give you credit.
Well, there you go.
But that was a funny night. We've had some fun times together.
We have. There's been some interesting things happen over the years. So,
well, ladies, should we take this moment and make sure we have a full glass as we?
I'm sure. Yeah.
Because I'm almost done with it.
Take a little pause.
Get you some wine. I'm almost done with it.
Yeah. And
it is close to New Year's. I better start lining things up on my cell phone.
Yeah, maybe we can talk about what we're looking to get some of in the new year.
Tonight.
Oh my God.
Sure, let's take a quick break.
Sounds great. I've been holding that cough in forever.
You did a great job. So we're just all over the place, right?
We're all over the place. Yeah, we can totally, go serious business stuff. But I think it might be more fun to let's just have fun.
It might be, yeah. We had fun. It might
take a quick break.
Sounds great. But maybe something to, maybe it is talking about what's in the next year. Or
my kid just got in, so
Evan or
Dominique. So she's back. Or Gabe, as her name is. She changed her name.
Did she bring your glass over?
Yeah.
Like for real changed it? Like officially?
Changing it, yeah.
To Gabriel or
Gabriel something Davis or Craven. She hasn't decided.
Because she doesn't like the name that you gave her?
Well, I didn't give her that name. Her dad did, so she's not a fan.
So she's not a fan of her dad?
No. Her name was supposed to be Jermaine. But her dad came back and named her Dominique, which I think was the name of the daughter of the woman he was cheating on me with.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But I don't know. Like, I don't know for real. But I suspect. So she's never really liked that name. I've never liked the name. So
Good for her.
How did he get to name her without you?
I wasn't pregnant, having the baby, and just kind of was out of it.
When they
came in, so in the Army, they don't they don't honor any kind of thing. They're like, "You're the daddy. What's his name?" Right? Seriously? Yeah, it was. This was the 80s. I mean, the early 90s, so they didn't care.
Serious? That is shocking.
So he named her Dominique. And so I was like, no, Paige. That's the middle name.
So
I got Paige.
That's where Paige
That's
comes
my mom. My mom wanted her to be named Paige. So her name is not mine. She was supposed to be Jermaine Michael. I just like that.
That's a really cool
I thought
name.
it was a cool name.
Yeah.
Like, what girl is named Jermaine Michael? So.
But did she want to be Gabriella? Like Gabriella, the Gabriel, the more masculine form of the name.
Yeah. My sister's son and her were born 6 hours apart because I was in Germany and she was here, so they were 6 hours apart
at the same time. Actually,
yes, yeah, pretty much. And so his name is Gabriel.
Okay.
And so they knew each other when they were babies, but not like they were like 2 when they stopped knowing each other. But she's always kind of had some
connection with
kinship.
How long were you in Germany?
2.5 years.
Did you learn to speak German?
I did at the time.
Do you still?
Oh no,
No,
not
it would
anymore.
come back. It would.
I guess if I started
drinking heavy.
No, I mean I could say left, right,
left, right, left.
How do I get back to the train station?
Left, right.
What is left? What is left?
Isn't längs? Gradios.
And that's right.
I think Gradios is like straight. I don't know. All I know is wo ist der Bahnhof? Wo ist der Kaserne?
What is the concern?
No, where's the Kaserne? So like
A restroom?
No, the Kaserne is the military post. So it's a Kaserne, Kaserne.
Yeah, that's something I would never.
Yeah. Wo ist der Fliegerhorst-Kaserne? That's
Okay.
Get me back home. That's basically
9.
I know that one.
9.
So
That's, I think, my only-
I was over there for 2 years, but I had to learn. I learned survival German.
Oh, I
Because I lived in the academy, and because I had my daughter over there, and the woman who owned the apartment complex, her and her husband, her daughter was having a baby in the States, and so she kind of adopted me like her daughter, who couldn't understand a word she was saying. So her and her husband would come over to the house, and they would be talking. She won't show me how to cook. She's the one who taught me how to cook.
Oh, wow.
Her husband would come and all I remember him saying is, in German, is babies should have flowers. And so he put flowers on the patio, and they gave me all my daughter's first year of clothes. So she had these little, which is still in the basement, by the way. Sad. They gave these little German clothes, and stuff. She was a really sweet, wonderful woman. She really was.
Do you keep in touch with her?
No, I'm sure she's, long since they were older.
Okay.
So
You would be surprised if they were still living.
I would be.
Okay.
But they were very sweet people. For 2 Germans who didn't know me from Adamet.
Right.
So anyway.
Well, shall we go?
Roll us back in.
Wine. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, and we're back. We have nice full glasses.
I'm already into the new year.
I know, that's right.
This is really a good bottle of wine that I provided here tonight on the
Yes,
podcast.
good job, Michelle.
Yeah, and I think if all of our listeners would run out and buy the same bottle, they would agree. That's what I'm just saying.
They would be very pleased.
I'm gonna stick with that. Small victories.
Small victories.
Small victories.
So, Darcella, what would be a small to big victory to experience in 2019 for you?
Oh, God. Okay.
Let's go small and then let's go big.
Small. So small. A small victory would be... A small victory would be having a wonderful date that lasted the entire night that didn't end in "so what's up," right? We could not end that way. That would be a small victory.
So when he says, "So what's up?" is he like saying to you, "So are we gonna go back and hit this or what?"
Yeah. Or
And obviously he didn't bring a bottle of Paradou with him because otherwise there wouldn't have been. You'd have been like,
so that would be a small victory. Just have a really nice date.
Where are you finding these dates?
problem. I'm not. Actually, quite frankly, I've actually used just about every online service, and I've had a few friends try to connect me. I'm pretty social, so I'm not a wallflower at all. So when I'm at an event, hey, how you doing? I mean, I'm out.
Yeah.
So I'm not the one in the corner. So I don't know the answer to the question.
Well, you have dates. You go out.
Oh, she has great stories about these dates as well.
It's just that you're not finding a love connection. Yeah, that's the bottom line, right?
Well, not even a kind of we can make it to the second or third date connection. Mostly because I tend to end up, I think, with guys who like my energy, like all that stuff, right? And they also like the fact that I don't look my age, so they all kind of go in there. And I get a lot of men who think I'm younger.
I totally see that because when we first met and you shared your age, I thought you were several years younger than I am.
Oh, I love you. Yeah. But that's the problem. So then they find that I'm not, and I'm like, oh, no, sweetie, I'm not having any more babies. This factory is shut down. I'm trying to, enjoy my life and do other things. And so that usually stops that. And
then if they have young children, that stops it too.
Well, under 10, I'm like double digits or nothing. So.
Do you like younger men?
I like men.
Period. Right. Okay.
I tend to not go down more than 10 years just because I think we end up not having a lot to talk about. Mm-hmm. And they want kids still. So it's not fair for me to monopolize your time. Mm-hmm. If you want to have children and I know I'm not going to have any more.
Doing that again.
But if they have young kids, I'm not completely opposed. If they have really good relationships and stuff like that, that would be awesome. But usually double digits is where I'm at.
Okay.
Like 10,
You're
11.
not really interested in like having a 4 or 5 year old running around that you're helping to raise.
Ooh, sweet baby. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. What if like he's really, really rich?
No.
Okay. As long as you're
I
consistent.
don't want to be responsible for another human being.
It's like I've done that. I've raised mine, right? Yeah.
And
No, I hear
I
you.
volunteer. If I want to do that, I'll volunteer someplace and I'll play with my nieces. I'll do something.
Right.
So to answer your question, that's kind of what happens. Is so there's that disconnect, and then in the older men, usually they tend to still think they're in their 20s and 30s. So there's that. Or what I have found so far is that those older men have been dating younger women, and it is a different shift to move back up to your age range. So I make no judgments on them for dating younger women. That's their thing. That's what they want to do. But then I think it's not fair to anyone involved if you think you can just jump up back to your age range and you haven't had some training in between.
Fair point.
You need to relearn how to talk and have complete sentences in your speech.
I am curious why socially it's far more acceptable for men to date much younger women, yet when a woman dates a man that's 10 years her junior, it's controversial.
So it's interesting you say that because both of my coworkers, actually, both the man and the woman, the man's wife was 12 years his senior, and the woman, her husband, is 12 years her junior.
Well, that's very atypical.
Absolutely. So I was just shocked that I had two of them in the same place, and it was interesting to watch. Mm-hmm. It was interesting to watch other people's reaction.
I just met a wonderful woman. Fairly recently. It was like one of those situations like you and me, Michelle, where we just kept running into each other.
We're special.
Oh, well,
we're like way special. Yeah.
I'm talking
don't make me like everybody else, Emily.
No.
Special.
Okay, let me rephrase. I kept running into this woman with great frequency. So I was like, hey, I think we should be friends. Okay, don't worry, we're not doing a podcast.
Okay, good.
But
she's jealous.
But I was like, let's just have some coffee, Mm-hmm. So we got together. She's a really interesting woman, and she, I think we'll probably be having her on the show in the new year
Well, it just
at some
depends.
point.
It just depends. I'm not so sure. I don't know if I like her or not. She's just like us. But that's okay. You're fine. Go ahead, keep talking, Emily. It's fine. It's fine.
Well, one of the
growing
things
here. I'm growing. This is all good.
one of the things that I think is interesting about her is that she did have a story go viral when she is married to a man who is, oh goodness, I mean, he's 15, if not 20 years younger.
God.
Much younger.
He has a very good back.
But the way that they met is a really fascinating story. So I'll reserve that for
when she's
our
on the
conversation.
show. Yeah.
But it's a story that actually went viral. It was in newspapers and news stories all around the world. And she's just a really interesting woman. So
She hates you right now for talking about her on the podcast. Without
I haven't named her.
Isn't it a shock? I mean, isn't it like crazy that a news story was because some woman
dated some guy 20 years
younger than her?
Well, I know I've shared my limits. Is that I don't date anybody that I've been alive. No, sorry. Let me rephrase that. I don't date somebody where I have been driving longer than they've been alive.
That's your litmus.
And I think that's a fair point, Michelle.
So that would be a 16-year difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't really like to go 16 years older than me either.
Yeah.
But I like your point, Darcella. I think you're right. Wow, that's newsworthy. This woman is dating a younger man.
Yeah.
But what I do like is the fact that our news is so often inundated with all of the bad stories. Mm-hmm. And this was just a human interest story that people found they celebrated.
Yeah.
And
she's my
actually
superhero.
the focus of the story isn't
What was
about
that,
their...
Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher?
Yeah, the focus of the story was not their age. It really was the circumstances in which they met.
That's awesome.
Which is very much
together?
like a Hallmark movie.
Do they have kids together?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
So my limit is if I could have had you, we can't date.
Focus to your mom.
If I could have had you, we can't date.
16, 17
It's
years.
about, I'm just saying. If I could have had you, we can't date. So then the other thing is if you don't know the difference between G-Force and Voltron, we can't date. And if you weren't here when the Walkman became a thing, we can't date. So those are my. I have some pretty clear.
The Walkman. That's like
Right.
That really goes back.
That's 80s. I mean, you know, it was like 84, 85, something like that. So the reason I say that is not because I'm putting some weird constraints on it. I have found that I've had some amazing conversations with younger men. There was certainly, and this is certainly general, there's some certainly amazing, wonderful, educated, just smart,
sexy,
whatever. Yeah.
All kinds
awesome
of
younger
stuff,
men. And however, sometimes we're not in the same space. Like I am ready to travel and go internationally some places and
Right.
I'm doing these things. I'm finishing.
You're going to Omaha.
I'm going to
Des Moines.
and and they're in a different space, and it's just not fair for
you,
for me, for them, and so that's kind of why I have that kind of artificial space. Now, who knows if some awesome guy came along who was, 12 years, because my two coworkers, their relationships were amazing. I mean, just amazing. So
Yeah. I've always been flattered when a younger person is attracted to me. And, I've always personally been drawn towards older men. And I just think that's just generally speaking the rate of maturity for men versus women. And I've always kind of been a bit of a older person in my spirit. So, it's just worked out better for me to have relationships with.
I think as long as they're breathing. Breathing at good credit. Breathing in good credit.
although this is still just my small goal, right? Although I will say, I mean, I love a blue collar guy. I am not opposed. Listen, I don't care what he does for a living. He's paying his own bills and keeping up his responsibilities. I don't care what he does.
Yeah.
He could.
As long as he's not requesting you to take care of his bills.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I do care, and that's not true. You can't be slinging dope on the corner. That I don't want.
Right.
Oh, you have standards.
Yeah, I have some standards.
Yeah.
But if he's, and I find that to be a challenge because so many of those guys will hit on me. And
The
I
slinging
do,
the dope on the corner.
No,
They want to a sugar mama.
blue collar guy, and because they're playing the dozens, right? They're like, whatever. Which is like, one of these women's gonna say yes.
Seriously.
One of these women's gonna say yes, and for me, it's very attractive for a guy who like owns who he is. Like he owns his shit. He's like, yep, this is me. This is what I do. I work third shift. What? Right. Okay. All right. Hey.
So, are we getting together when you get up or what?
Are we doing some
He makes decisions. He respects me. He wants to know my opinion about stuff. And at the end of the day, he's like, okay, this is where we're going to dinner. Right. I'm in.
Yeah.
I do find men who are supposedly in my peer group oftentimes have a lot harder time working with me. Mostly
more intimidated.
Well, first of all, most of them are married, and they have, so they're already taken. But not so much. I don't think intimidated is not it. I think there is no clear like who's in charge, right? And so they're much more attuned to being kind and gentle and sweet and nice, and sometimes that gets
whatever you want to do. Where do you want to eat tonight? Where would you like to go? Well, I mean, I know you've been making decisions all day long, running the organization and taking care of everything and everybody. But what else would you like to do?
Right, and it's not. Again, it's not. I mean, this is all very general. So certainly there are amazing guys who are
all over.
Smart and wonderful and all that kind of stuff. So that's my small goal. It's just, but I just want to have a date.
That's
just a nice date.
I mean, I think that's manageable. I think we could make that work for you.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's my small goal.
Okay, small goal.
What's your small goal? No,
we're going to go small goal.
What's your small goal?
Oh, can we come back to me?
All right, we'll come back to you.
What's yours?
It's easy. Let's throw that to our guest. What's your
Yeah, I know. Yeah, let's
we
put
haven't
you
even
on the
talked about
spot.
this in advance, but let's go to my small goal.
Yeah.
Oh, my small goal is to maximize my full day. Like, actually get to my office at a normal hour.
Okay.
I don't want to say what my non-normal hour is because I might have a listener out there.
But, you make up for it because you work late
I
and
do.
whenever you need to.
But I would like to try to maximize my morning time, my morning hours. That's a small goal. I have lots of goals related to relationships too, but those are kind of like bigger goals.
Yeah.
All right. So my small goal, I just want to get good at Instagram and
you already are, girl.
I want to really know what I'm doing. Yeah, I want to really know what I'm doing with that stuff.
So I'm actually doing a class on that. In late January, February. So we'll talk.
Okay, fantastic.
I think you could get her like on the scholarship, like a scholarship to the class or something. Yeah.
I got you.
Okay, fantastic.
And I'll give you some money too. So what? There you go.
I already think you're amazing at all
There's
that
your
Instagram.
late holiday gift. There you go.
Oh, yay.
Merry Christmas.
That's definitely.
That's a small goal. I can't even imagine what your large goal is going to be then.
World domination.
Oh gosh.
Well, should we take a little glass refresh break
Think
and
about
then
our large goals.
Talk about
our large goals. We have a little bit of
which
Paradou
could
left.
mean many different things.
Well, we are on
depending
Literally
on-
Speaking the
right,
podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
complete and total domination of sorts. Yeah. Anyway, let's take a break before we go off on another tangent.
it. Sounds like I'm not even sure what's happening.
I know.
It's nice to have fun, easygoing episodes like this.
Yeah.
We'll have you on for something serious at some point.
I'm fine.
We'll talk about veterans issues on another.
Yeah.
Well, that could be a big goal. I mean, it could be. If there's something veteran related, I mean, there's no reason we can't take this moment to say something. Whatever. Whatever feels right. We're not forcing anything here.
So, I have a couple of pet peeves, but this is not what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say pet peeve. It's little quirks. So I have a couple of quirks, and one
Quirks
of
are
those
great.
is I am super terrified of pictures that have people in them, because I used to watch like pictures that have people in them.
Like you mean
art,
random
like-
people?
Like in the art.
Yeah, like
So not like that.
but like
It was a
portraits,
farmhouse,
and there might be a
with a little
picture.
person in the window.
oh.
Freaks me out, right? Because
Oh.
I watched some Outer Limits show or something when I was a kid, and there was a
Oh.
woman that kept moving inside the picture.
Oh, that terrifies you a little bit, huh?
Right. And then she was like right up on the edge, and I was like, ah! All right. So that's one thing. But that wall thing
we
behind,
have?
yeah. So
Yeah.
this, I really like
terrify
it.
you?
But it's almost like I wonder if there are little people.
Behind here?
It does look like one of those.
That's a
you know,
really
like little miniature things in
interesting
here,
little
actually.
paranoia that you have.
I used to also think people were in this TV. And so one day I dropped some water in my mom's television, and it, of course, exploded the television, right? When she came home, and she was like, "Why are you crying?" So I told her what happened, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm so really mad. I'm going to, spank you for that." And I was like, I was crying because I thought I killed the people on the TV. And she said, I was so distraught about the people I killed. She got to spank me. She was like, for years.
I'm going to use the restroom really quickly before we...
Yeah. She was like, for years you thought you killed the people.
We'll just keep our YouTube channel people really happy.
We'll just keep it going.
Yeah.
Keep talking. Talk about more paranoia.
Are you taking Iggy to the bathroom?
Yeah, because otherwise he'll get paranoid.
If you're not with him.
Like, where'd she go? She left. Oh, God.
Separation anxiety.
So tell me about your trip. Was it awesome? Make everybody there.
It was awesome.
Yeah, the pictures look beautiful.
Yeah, so I went to Estonia, and there is a YouTube podcast extra if you want to go watch
That was
that.
awesome.
And Estonia was one of the Baltic countries. It was former Soviet Union, but it is the oldest continuously used medieval city. So the city of Tallinn is where we went to go, where we took the cruise over. And then we had the whole day, well, not the whole day, but like 6 hours to go to the Christmas market. And they have the oldest continual Christmas tree, not the same one, but dating back to like 1644, where they put a Christmas tree in their town market. Beautiful architecture in the old town, the medieval town. All the embassies are there because the parliament is there because Tallinn is the capital of Estonia. And then you go like outside the medieval walls and you start to see like Soviet architecture.
Oh, wow.
And then you see like new architecture being built because Estonia is the Silicon Valley of Northern Europe.
Oh, funny.
Skype was created in Estonia, and
About this.
That's
I
cool.
would never have known. They're so advanced. Like their tech is like.
totally they are a digital government. They have so many great things happening, and there's like 1.5 million people that live in the whole country.
Wow.
Come on, darling.
And then I karaoke'd with a big, strong, strapping Estonian man.
Thing on NPR about how like Estonians are like adopting like getting microchips so that they can like put their hand up to doors.
Oh, seriously?
I did not know that.
Oh my God, that's terrifying.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
So, but
I know.
But I read that story in the 80s too. So in the 80s they were talking about doing it.
But if you really want to watch something kind of absolutely fantastic, is how Estonia, Latvia, I think Lithuania, I think those are the Baltic states. There might be one more. I apologize to my
You should
YouTube.
listen to the Animaniacs song and they would tell you.
Oh yeah, it's true. Oh my
But
gosh,
there is
that
a
show was so
documentary on
great.
either Netflix or Amazon Prime. I don't know, but it's called The Singing Revolution, and about how they sang for their freedom. It
Amazing.
will bring you to tears, as opposed to, I mean, it was dull when the Soviet Union was falling apart, but while they were part of the Soviet Union or occupied by the Soviets, and over 20,000, it might have been closer to 30,000 of Estonia's intellectuals and their artists and their ruling class people were deported to Siberia. So they like try to decimate the brain power, and they were not allowed to sing their national anthem at all while they were part of the Soviet Union. And so the way that they got their freedom back was they just started to sing their anthem. and the Soviet Union couldn't stop it. And in 1991, they finally became free. I'm gonna cough for a second.
That's awesome.
It's
Amazing
a phenomenal,
story.
wonderful documentary. I highly recommend it. I would go. Hopefully, I'll go back. I loved being on the cruise ship. I loved drinking on the cruise ship. I love the duty free on the cruise ship. I've never been on one before. You guys are going to laugh about this, and this obviously is a YouTube extra. So before I went on my cruise ship with Anne, her sons were starting to talk. We were having dinner, and they were like, "Oh yeah," started talking about like Titanic and the Estonia. There was a cruise ship in 1994 called the Estonia that like crashed, and like 900 of the 1,200 people died. And I said, "Guys, can we like not talk about this? I've never been on a cruise ship. What are you gonna have?" Like I joked with this, like the American girl, walking around with her life jacket on, the whole time. So I go to get my massage because I booked the massage for the day after, walking around town, and the sauna and the steam room and stuff. I booked all that. I'm in there. It's a magnesium oil massage. So you're going to take care of all my inflammation. And nice rub downs happening. She has Celine Dion playing. Third song.
Oh, God.
Can you guess?
Yeah.
My Heart Will Go On from the Titanic. I'm like, does nobody tell this massage therapist this is not the song to be rubbing your client on
A cruise ship.
on a cruise ship
That first footnote hit you
Without
right.
my-
yeah, right. Like I couldn't relax.
Without my life vest, what's going on? Yeah.
Gotta relax. You're gonna need more magnesium oil because it's not happening. I just thought that was funny.
All right.
Funny. Okay, well,
All right.
anyway, Emily's done listening about my stories.
No.
She's ready
I'm just
she's ready.
saying.
Yeah, I
we
know.
need to get it
Yeah.
back on the road.
Yeah,
It is.
we're out of Paradou. Who's got to make this
Yeah.
happen?
All right.
Roll tape.
And we're back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have had a little bit of extra fun on that break. So I encourage those of you who enjoy the show, who want to get a little something extra, to go to our YouTube channel, subscribe. And of course, you can catch all the little tidbits that happen on our breaks before and after.
It's priceless.
There's quite a bit extra going on.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
it's like a behind the scenes kind of feel
Definitely.
to it.
Yes.
That's
yes.
what we're going to stick with anyway.
And you get a little bit more of the Sam perspective too. Our Mr. January.
Mr. January 2019.
Yes.
He likes to chime in on on the breaks.
That's
But anyway,
true.
we're back.
Yeah, so we were talking before we left. We threw out the question of big goals 2019. And Darcella, since we started with you on small goals, let's go back to you on the big ones.
Wow. So I think my big goals are pretty cliche. Just to be healthier, to have a healthier lifestyle. And so not just, I just want to be physically healthier, but just overall a healthier
What does that mean
wholeness.
to you? Like, is it
a better
food? Is it
mental
exercise?
health,
Okay.
kind of come to grips with some challenges in my past, kind of let go, have a better relationship with my grown daughters now.
What are some of
Things
the, if you don't mind diving in for a second there, what are maybe some of those issues that you want to find a way to let go? Anything you're willing to talk about?
So probably, actually, one of the things I want to let go is my stuck points. So stuck points, as my therapist has told me, are, 'cause I have one of those now.
Okay.
Although, I'm an
help.
Army veteran, and the VA now has this amazing program that they started sometime mid-2018 called Whole Health Veteran.
Nice.
And so one of the things is kind of looking at your past and trying to come to grips with the big stuck points that you say in your life. So one of mine is kind of married men suck because they hit on me so much.
Wow.
And right. And so instead of just saying that married guy sucks, I kind of just broadly put that across everyone. And so she's going to help me walk through those
Do
things.
you know they're married when they hit on you, or you don't?
they
and it
do,
eventually
though.
surfaces. Of course, right.
Yeah.
So
I always joke, is like, is there like a sign on my face that says, hey, hit on her because you're married.
Right.
It's so.
And so that would be a stuck point too. When it's those broad things that you say that are that never happens for me. Well, that's not true. The fact that something never happens for you isn't true. So she's helping me walk through those pieces.
Does she want us to like not discount all of the married men that hit on us? Only like every other married man that hit on us?
So the stuck point is that it trickles down from married men to all men.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah,
so
okay.
And so for me, it
changes how you feel about men.
Right. It changes how I feel about relationships. You know, married men do this, therefore no man can be trusted.
Yeah.
So
I
that
see.
kind of that slide. So
Yeah.
she's kind of helping. So that's just the bigger one. I mean, some obviously are other things like health and.
So if
Have
you keep
been
going
married?
to her and
No,
then
never
let
married.
me know what you say.
I will.
So
No, never married.
Okay.
And so one of my other stuck points is that if a guy starts to even raise his voice at me, it's over. Like, we're done. There's not even, you don't even get a second chance to say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to raise your voice. We're done. And so for me, so she's helping me like think through, well, why is that? What are you doing? What were things that happened? What are the things that happened in your past that make you kind of look at somebody and go, nope, you don't get a second chance. Because obviously if you have that space, you can't have a good relationship, right? Because you're like, oh, you're done.
Right.
So nobody gets a chance. So she's helping me walk through that. So, and for 2019, I'd like to kind of keep working on that.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
those are excellent
Keep
goals.
deconstructing those
And I think what's
things.
really kind of cool about this, you know, when we're having our podcast, we're talking with women and stuff, and as we're, you know, advancing another year in age, is how we as women want to have more of a holistic understanding of ourselves. You know, yes, I'd like to lose weight and I'd like to be happy. I'd like to earn more money, that kind of stuff. But we now we understand like what all those elements are that go into that person,
Right.
that wholeness, that happy.
Yeah, we got to fix something that's inside to get that
Like
thing
what?
that's on the outside.
Why did I trigger so hard
Yeah.
on XYZ? Why
Right,
did that
absolutely.
hit me so hard? And I think that comes with age and experience. And I don't think there's anything we could say to a 20-year-old or 22 or maybe our daughters. You know, it's like, well, listen to me. This might
Right.
happen, but I know you have to experience it yourself, so that when you are 50. Almost you'll be like, oh, my mom was so smart. My mom was so smart then. But I think it's very, very cool, and I think it's very awesome that the VA is providing this
my
kind of
goodness.
service.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
amazing. They're actually piloting it here in St. Louis. There's a young woman doctor who was able to get the VA to really think about, and there's 10 areas that they work on. So don't ask me all 10 because I can't remember. But I get free yoga, so you can do free yoga classes. They're working on nutrition and just basic mental mindfulness. So after I do yoga, we then do mindfulness.
Yeah.
There's basic nutrition, you know, kind of stuff. There's functional nutrition. So it's not even just, here's the dietitian who's going to tell you how to eat well. They have a functional nutritionist that comes and meets with us and says, okay, let me tell you how to actually get 12 things of, you know, vegetables in. So that is that. They do, mental and emotional health as well. So that they look at your surroundings. So they help evaluate your workspace and your home. So there's like 10 spaces. And I suggest any veteran go and sign up because St. Louis is piloting it.
There's several amazing programs here in St. Louis for veterans. There's another program that I recently became aware of called Vision for Vets. Have you
Oh,
heard
yes.
of it? Oh, it's
They're awesome.
phenomenal what this
Yeah.
this man has done. It's a art therapy program
Oh, yeah.
for veterans, and it's extremely transformative.
I love that guy. If you ever saw him, I mean, I'm just sorry.
I know him. Yeah.
he is such the kindest human being. But you could make some judgments on him based on how he looks. He's got on overalls. He's got like this shaggy hair.
But he's brilliant and an
Yeah,
incredible artist.
he's amazing.
With the biggest heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like
and
it.
he's been able to accomplish, so much.
In spite of his overalls.
In spite of his overalls. No, he's just the sweetest guy too.
He really is.
And he cares. So that's
I think it's awesome that we have these things going on in St. Louis. And would you give us the name of the lady that's piloting it? But not
absolutely.
afterwards to find the information, because I think it'd be cool to reach out to her to have her possibly as a guest on our podcast one time, because I think that would
amazing.
be an incredible show.
Yeah, I think we'll also share some of those resources for veterans too. It'd be great to. Yeah, that sounds.
Particularly, I love the fact that it's a woman doing it, because women veterans still are not accessing resources like they should. So, I'd really love to encourage them to just reach out.
Wouldn't you think that would just be a typical woman behavior, is that we don't access resources, and then when you're a veteran on top of that, so you're not only are you a woman, but you're a veteran as well, so you have all that encompasses.
Double stigma going on.
Or double duty of what you need to carry.
Right.
And so women don't reach out enough regardless. But when you have programs available to you because you're a veteran, then definitely
No, absolutely.
I think you should continue to promote it, talk about it, and take advantage of it yourself.
No, absolutely. so that's my big goal, is to kind of continue to work on that. And the lady asked me the other day, the nutritionist said, why do you want to lose weight? And I was like, so that I can stay in my house longer. So I want to be
multiple
independent
floors
when I'm in my 70s and 80s. I don't want to have to go to a elderly care home because I can no longer bend, or I can't, stand up straight. Or,
Yeah.
So that's really it. And there were some other more personal reasons too. But
that goes back to the date actually working.
It's all tied together.
Yeah. Fortunately, though, I did learn today that wine is okay.
You just learned that today?
No, for whatever diet you're doing, it is okay. I was like, thank you, baby Jesus, for letting me know that I could
go
have
to 2019 knowing that fact.
That's my big goal.
Yeah, we were just getting to you.
Were we?
Yeah.
My big goal for 2019, I think, is, we'll see, what my little goal was to show up earlier at work.
It's also a big goal.
To get to work on time. And hopefully nobody at my job is listening. I think my big goal for 2019 is to really continue to grow our podcast. There are so many cool things and applications and places to go with this, that and maybe you could talk to your therapist about this and then come back with me and let me know what she says. Sometimes it overwhelms me.
Therapist today, I'm going to be a different person.
Somebody else's problems.
Can we talk about Michelle's issues? I mean, she does have a podcast and tells the whole world her issues, but she needs you to tell her what to do. It's more, there's sometimes I feel like, we're just we're on this cusp of mediocrity greatness. I don't know what it is, right? The best but I feel that I almost retreat a little because it's scary.
Oh, and that's an interesting dynamic. Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, great! I got that to deal with now.
That's interesting.
So it's learning to, and I do trust a lot. I trust a lot in process, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
All of the the cliches that people have out there, but I feel like we're right here, and I don't want to be afraid of what happens.
Oh, okay.
That happens on the other, when we cross over. So I don't want to hold us back by that fear. Does that make sense?
I think this
Ask
is
your
what makes
therapist,
us such good partners. Because I think
You're gonna
that
just drag me over the edge. It doesn't matter.
well, I mean that there's a little bit of truth to that. I think 2019 I share in that same goal with you for sure. And I think the thing that holds me back is very different than holds you back. So very much for me, I'm not afraid of what's on the cusp.
Okay.
I am
You're ready to
I am
jump
ready
off.
for it. Yeah.
Okay.
My issue is an old issue that goes so far back. I've dealt with my great fear is money related. I've had absolute no money and been homeless to lots of money and everything in between. And I feel that tie to financial concerns is what holds me back from achieving greatness. I've been on the cusp of many things succeeding greatly. And since I've made a dynamic shift in my life, I made a dynamic shift to go a direction where I knew that I'd be happy and fulfilling my potential and knew that this is who I need to become. So I made this big shift in my life. And the fact that I still have this money fear that's holding on to me, I think is the thing that I need to figure out how to let go so that way I can just put all myself into something without that holding me back. And Michelle, you're very good at this because we've had this conversation a little bit.
But apparently I have no money fears. I just spend it. Not even mine, right?
Well, what you've done is you've helped me shift that mindset from a fear of loss to changing to a mindset of abundance. Mm-hmm. And so I think that together, as we work towards making Clitorally Speaking
the podcast
a resource for many, knowing that I can help drag you over the peak of that mountain and you can help me see the abundance below us.
I can pick you up when we get to the bottom of the mountain. You're like, I gotta go back because I have to go do that other job that I know I'm going to get paid for. Yeah.
Right.
So the interesting thing is, one of the things I tell my entrepreneurs, the clients that come to...
We're kind of entrepreneurs right now.
Absolutely. You are. You are entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
Normally speaking, you're there. One of the things I tell them is, don't worry about money. Because if you're doing the thing that you love, people will come to you and money comes with them.
Yeah.
Money is out there and it's just flowing around and people are just waiting to give it to you. You've just got to own that space that they're waiting to give it to you. I think one of the best books I ever read was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Oh, I have not read that.
It's the best book I've ever read. Listen to it on, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
It's timeless. The concepts, the thinking differently, it takes a while to grasp what is being said to you because it's not something that we learn normally. We are raised to be worker bees.
Mm-hmm. Well, very true.
We are, right? If you think about it, everything in your entire life raised you to be a worker bee. So you were a kid, you went to school, a bell rang, and you went to recess, and a bell rang, you came back, and a bell rang, you went to lunch, and a bell rang, you went home. And so there's all these things.
Our play,
absolutely.
Our toys were play vacuums, play kitchens,
Absolutely.
play, all
absolutely.
about work.
Play school.
Yeah, do
Right.
do that, and learn to work for someone rather than thinking. And working for someone is awesome. I work for someone.
somebody,
Everybody works for someone at some
I work for
space.
Emily.
But
Here on the podcast.
but even in your space where you work, you can be entrepreneurial in your space. So own that. Own that fear of that thing and kind of go, I'm grabbing this and we're going to all go over this cliff.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have some really great wine while we do it.
Absolutely.
'Cause
I know.
that is our like security blanket. Well, it doesn't matter because we have
But
this great-
it's going to be, I mean, you're doing awesome. So I can see 2019 being, beyond dynamic. So
That's the
there you
goal.
go.
Well, cheers to that. Happy 2019,
Hey,
ladies.
absolutely. Absolutely.
I knew when I met her over 10 years ago, but after high school, that she was pretty awesome. And I'm so glad that we created this entire podcast just so that
to have this
someday
conversation.
Darcella Craven could be our guest.
Yes.
She always is what you need to hear when you need to hear it, even though you didn't know you needed to hear it. that's what, you should probably like Darcella-isms.
So perhaps,
like
I got some other ones.
so we need like a little Darcella mediation in between each show.
we should have like a Darcella point of view on our podcast and on our blogs and stuff. Well,
let me just tell you.
Exactly. This is get you some wine. But
that's hilarious.
Again, I'm totally blessed that you're my friend.
And I'm blessed that you're my friend now as well.
Absolutely. We're all friends.
That we're all friends.
Yeah.
I can borrow money from everybody. So
And St. Louis is so fortunate to have you here
thank
doing all the great work that you do, which if they look at your bio on our website, they'll find out what you do, but we're not going to talk about it right now. Because we've been all about being girlfriends, drinking a bottle of wine tonight.
I know.
And
preparing for the new year.
So to you,
ladies, this has been a lovely conversation. Let's have one last salute for the day. And we definitely would love to have you back sometime very soon, and so we'll celebrate perhaps after you have your first accomplishment for the year, which is a good date.
Yeah,
we should have you back. Yeah.
Well, if they're listening, they'll have already gone out and bought this bottle of wine because that's all they really need to do. But we'll definitely have you back on, Darcella. And to all of our listeners out there, we wish you a very happy new year. And thank you so much for making Clearly Speaking the podcast as a
part of your day.
Yeah. Listening to Emily and I and letting us come into your space. And
you know what? We would love to hear what's your big goal, what's your small goal, and you can share that with us on any of our social media channels. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. Of course, we have that hotline. You can call us and leave us a message. That number is 812-727-0794. We'd really love to hear from you.
You can also visit our website, clearlyspeakingpodcast.com, and leave us an email, a comment letter as well if you don't want to call us, which I don't know why you wouldn't want to call us. I mean, we are pretty awesome people. If you just give us a ring sometime. Yeah. But thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Happy New Year. We are looking forward to 2019 and all the best to all of our listeners out there next time.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.